Yeah, this is Ron Wade. This is tape number 5. I wanted to, first of all, I wanted to say that I didn't have God until around October 27th. And when you realize, it's obvious music and middle seed does not belong to man. I mean, it just doesn't. And the results of my logic left only one conclusion, and just all these numbers. Life is a derivative, and as you go through my Facebook, what you're going to see is I always end up 752, and then I've covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it's unclear whether it's the eighth day or what, so I don't know if I need a 9 or not. Look at our planets, okay? We have the sun and the moon. That's all we have. God is connected to man. Now, God's wife is probably connected to those. I know it'd be tides, maybe gravity, Saturn. You've got to look. You've actually got 12. You've got to have everything is perfect opposition. And so you control that. If you can see it, if you can understand it, you can measure it. So that's what this is all about. We've got to use logic when we're doing things, and I doubt we knew on a seizure that it's got to return to root. A seizure is your brain impulses going haywire, and it won't work in water. The nerves can't keep the energy in. We don't really understand the inner reaction. The guy that, and I haven't heard back from him, but, he will be a part of this. The guy that brought up frequency was perfect. And he said 432, 430, 4, or 4A. I mean, it made sense. It made sense. If you convert an electrical impulse to frequency, then it will travel through water. And it would also explain me, because I was misfired. I mean, I literally could not walk. I was walking crooked and kept wanting to fall to the ground. When I was at home, every time I stood up, I'd have spasms in my thighs, and I couldn't wait to sit back down, and I'd reach a point where I had to run back to the couch. So as we progress through this, we have the base formula. I mean, there's no question. It's music, okay? I've accounted for 7 notes. I haven't even touched the sharps. They might be natural as 7 and 5 for 12. And there's a good chance that they're not important, but I find that hard to believe. Everything that you look at, now we know that every element that you look at has 6 branches. I thought it was 2. I thought it was always half, and half. It's not. It's sixth, but in perfect inverted opposition. Your second result is always inverted or an altered reality. When you start seeing these ironies and paradoxes and oxymorons, you're just, of course, I mean, it's logical, but they're hard to see. But as you start to do it, your brain is going to start thinking like that. So that when you look at something or you look to make a decision, you're seeing 5 different things. So that's what we're trying to do here. There's no question that 6 and 6 is balance. It's 6 against 6, and anytime one throws off, it twists the wheel a degree either way. So let's say my valproic acid drops, okay? That's going to change the function of all the other ones. I think what happened on mine is, okay, the valproic dropped, which brought up another level, which caused a shift that caused the frequency to keep bouncing in my body and never getting back to the brain. My body stopped the seizure impulse. My daughter isn't that lucky. And women are more susceptible. And you got to remember, too, DNA's, I don't know. Someone tell me I was wrong on DNA. Bullshit. every person connected to me eternally, which will be family by blood, is going to be 1 degree, is going to be a degree less or more than me based on relative position. Tracy is directly from me, so she's either going to be worse or better. It's obviously she's worse. You know, if at some point, maybe I'll go to OU and we'll try to induce it again. Because if we can get to where we can measure, though, it wasn't painful. I didn't want to live like that. I mean, I was on the couch in a fetal position. But once we understand what we're measuring, then hell yeah, I'll do it. And that takes me to the other thing. Yeah, I'm giving my brain to science. And I tell you what, by the time I die, I'll unlock the whole damn thing. So this is going to be incredible. I know now because of the joke Dave played on me, but I don't try to jump ahead of this. I've made a lot of mistakes because I've tried to steer this, and I can't steer it. I never should have thought I could steer it. You know, but it's big. It's just too big for me. It's just now sinking in what I've done, but I'm confident I will not be disproved. I think a guy had said, and I'm going to try to find his name, that Newton's theory of motion was wrong. That's all he said to me. He had to know that I was screwed up, referring to Newton as the theory of relativity. The theory of motion, I think, is what is going to unlock converting my brain to energy. I have to assume that a brain impulse is just a blow away. And that conversion to frequency, man, that's got to generate some damn power. See what I'm saying? We're talking now, all we have is what we see. And that's why it never makes sense. Look at a flower. What's a flower? A flower. No, it's not. It's everything. You gotta be able to build that flower as opposing words that make it a flower. Now you can. It's not going to be easy. That's the coolest part, is the people are going to want to do this. It's like a big riddle that never ends. And every time you knock off a level, man, it advances. I'll just tell you what I see in my head. Our brains are going to start growing. We're going to start looking at our kids, and we're going to figure out how we can help them. We're going to look at people that aren't born right, knowing they didn't have a choice. But there's ways we can make it better. We can make their life better if they're contributing something just as much as anybody else. Everybody's got a special gift, and we've got to spend the time to find the best and the worst. And then we balance it, and we just influence them. We just kind of know where they're at. In the end, that could be where the sharps come in. You know, it could be personality types. When you start talking matching people, physical attractiveness, you can't control, okay? So you either like it this way or you don't. And you should never try to settle, you know. But don't worry, because there's a need for everybody. Matchmaking is all wrong, you know, because you got to take all 6 of those and you got to offset. I have a lot of guilt about my brother Dave because, well, not really guilt, but I could have helped him more. Dave's problem, and I think what we'll find out on Isaac Newton, is converting his head to words. And I had plenty of words. But, you know, I was a kid. What kid takes a brother and starts tutoring him, you know? But had I known that, had I known what I know now, I would have been encouraging Dave, because he's a guy that go out there in the oil patch by himself, and he'd need to move a 1,000-pound tank, and he'd do it. He'd figure out through mechanics how he could rig something to move it. He could move mountains, you know? I look at Isaac Newton, and you're going to have to accept that this crazy stuff is real. If I look at it, I've always thought Isaac Newton looked like Dave. Now, the reason I thought was his mustache. Then I realized it's the inquisitive eyes. You could just always tell Dave was wanting to do something mechanical. You know, he's a true musician, mechanic. I mean, he can do anything as mechanics. His sons are mechanical, but they're not Dave. See, they're just a degree or two less. That's just the way it works. You cannot control it, and you sit there, and it's going to go from bad to worse. See, so you've got to have 3 worse with 3 bads. I mean, I don't know. I think what happened to me and why I ended up with so many goods is because I put my brain to sleep. I had the ability to do that. And again, right now, I don't have a single thought in my head. It's just blank. I'm not thinking about any of these words. I'm making them up as I go along, and my brain isn't even on. You've got that train of thought just going round and round and round and round and round and round. You know, I started meditation many years ago, and you know, so I had some mind control, and I was just lucky. On the 3rd day, I just did not see how I was going to make it through the ordeal. And then I got a grip and just said, I can't think about it. And I was shocked when I got home and couldn't type on a keyboard. I mean, I literally, if I was going for a P, I was hitting over at a 1. And I mean, it just took 5 minutes, but I'm just, what the, you know? But that's what helped me survive. When I got picked up again, and that was my fault. Well, no, it wasn't my fault. So I go to outpatient, and I take a stand on my civil rights again, and refuse to fill out the paperwork. And 2 days later, I'm picked up by deputies. Now, Judge Pace had to resign. She's the one that goes to TCBH. So I saw no doctors after the first day. I was just there waiting to get out, and it took 14 days. Now, I take responsibility for being stupid, but I never should have been an outpatient anyway. So I don't want to dwell too much on the poison, but you have to realize that I've been put through something. People were trying to kill me. The experience could have ruined me for life. It could have killed me with the psychiatric drugs, or I could have literally come out crazy. And I said, no, it ain't going to happen. You know, it appears that I'm erratic, but I'm really not. I'm not erratic. There's just, you have to recover from that in stages. I realize that now, because I've just over the past few days been feeling great, but I still got to address my Depakote. I took one last night because I just, I was feeling a little bit off, and I'm taking melatonin. I did find the mix. You know, there's probably a better choice, because what you could probably do is you supplement 5 to get the 1. So this opens a world of everything. Our world isn't going to change that much. We're still going to need all the things we need. They're just going to perform a different function. Not sure about banks, but they'll be replaced. We'll need word factories. Once you realize what this is, we're talking billions of words. This is something that can bring the world together. And it's not a competition. We've spent our life competing against each other for money. So I just took it all. Look at my lawsuits. The Oklahoma Supreme Court can do whatever they want, but they ain't going to win. I mean, I'm going to get 1,000 multiplier on $1 billion. Mayor Bynum didn't respond, and the law says that they are all now guilty of civil rights violations, assault with art, assault, attempted murder with psychiatric drugs. I've asked the Supreme Court to pronounce sentence and reduce it to order. They don't have a choice. They might make one, but they're going to have to deal with me. I ain't scared of them. You know, you're going to have to defeat my logic to defeat me, and it won't be done because I'm giving you everything. I never once considered keeping this. You know, I was willing to look crazy to keep it going, but now I'm giving you the tapes. So I'm giving it all, and I'll keep cranking.